To talk on the latest, we're joined by political analyst Tom Gross, coming to us from Tel Aviv. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Now let's start with the latest. Trump wrote that the U.S. Knows where Iran's supreme leader is, but will not act on it for now. He followed up the post with another saying unconditional surrender with a few exclamation marks. Is that something that you would say could realistically happen?
Well, the first thing to note is that Trump has issued 3 or 4 social media posts, all of them saying "we." But so far, let's be clear, this is an Israeli operation. No American involvement at all to date. So it's quite strange that a few hours ago he was distancing himself, and now he's saying, we have complete control over Iran's skies. We know where the supreme leader is, and so on. So I'm never quite sure whether to take Trump seriously. He's really a little bit all over the place. In answer to your question, there's a broader question. Israel's aims are to stop the threat of Iran with nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles of the kind that Israel has been experiencing the last few days could have nuclear warheads picked on them. Israel cannot live with that. No country can live with that. Now the question is, does Israel have aims beyond that as to a change of government? So far, Israel has only really targeted military or the people connected in some way or other with the nuclear weapons program. And it is a nuclear weapons program, not what your reporter said at the beginning. No one in the world thinks this is for civil use. It's a weapons program. The question is, do Israel and the United States want to take it one stage further and go after political leaders? And both Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and Trump have kind of toyed with this idea of the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, being some kind of target. But it's hard to know whether they're doing that as political pressure so that they will come back to the table and completely agree to completely dismantle their nuclear program, have all the enriched uranium removed from the country, or whether this first stage of going against the nuclear program is just that, a first stage, and there's some kind of follow-up plan by the United States rather than by Israel to try and help the Iranian opposition, which is widespread, into sort of taking power and dismantling the present Islamic theocratic government.
What's the situation like on the ground in Israel? Are there any talks that the operation might be ending soon with all the top military brass, a number of nuclear scientists killed, as well as nuclear sites being hit?
Yeah, well, the Israeli army has let it be known that they think it could go on for about another week. What I understand is the IDF have cut Iran's missile threat in half. They've destroyed almost one half of Iran's missile launchers. So today there have been some ballistic missiles aimed at Israel, but it's significantly less than yesterday and the day before, partly because Israel's taking out the launchers and partly because perhaps the Iranian regime has left less ballistic missiles left, or more ominously, they could be holding them back and not wanting to use them all at once. But in any event, when they are, as they were earlier today, about 8 missiles in one go, it is easier for Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome, to successfully shoot down all 8 missiles, which it did. When there are barrages of 50 or even more missiles at once, that's when 2 or 3 or 4 of them manage to get through. The missile defense system cannot manage to shoot them all down, and these are huge, frightening missiles. We have 24 fatalities, many injured, huge destruction to buildings and property. It would be much more, except almost everybody in Israel goes to safe rooms, to bomb shelters. Otherwise, there could be hundreds of thousands dead, because these are really big missiles. And I should point out that all the dead in Israel have been civilians. Iran has only aimed at civilians throughout the entire country. These include Palestinian, Israeli Arab civilians. 4 women died in a in their house in northern Israel yesterday in the villa in the middle of the night. They had a safe room, but they didn't manage to reach it in time. Whereas Israel is targeting only at military targets or those working on the nuclear program, such as nuclear scientists. And I think we should be a bit skeptical of what your introductory report said, that most of the Iranian fatalities are civilians. Certainly, Israel is trying to avoid killing civilians.
I just must know that Iran says that most of its casualties, that number over 200, are also civilians. But Tom, thank you.
They say that, but they have a track record of lying. It's a dictatorial regime, and in my view, they make someone like Vladimir Putin look honest. If you look back on decades of lies, including about their nuclear program, I don't think we can trust anything the government says. So the fact they say the vast majority are civilians does not mean that's the case.
Very well, that's your opinion. Tom, thank you so much for joining us and providing us with your insight.
Thank you.